Astro, no. What you know about rolling down in the deep? When your brain goes numb, you can call that mental freeze. When these people talk too much, put that shit in slow motion. Yeah, I feel like an astronaut in the ocean.
Okay, everyone, welcome back to Steroids Are Good, our first video episode ever.
First video.
This has been a request of ours for a while now, so we're gonna start doing video shows from now on and see, whether
Definitely.
we have a lot of people who are rocking with us with that or not. So, it's been a while since we've been off from the podcast decks. How you been? What are your thoughts been on sports, life, anything in general that's been interesting you?
Oh, bro, it's been crazy. Just the playoffs, just in general. Lakers got kicked out, Denver got kicked out, Brooklyn got kicked out. My Nets got kicked out, which hurt my feelings.
I enjoyed the Nets getting kicked out.
Yeah, definitely, right? And then I don't know. I mean, it's been like a cool little playoffs.
Yeah,
I like it, new blood.
Yeah, I like that too, but I just realized how many players I didn't like that are on Brooklyn that I just don't like mess with at all that are on Brooklyn, and I was just like, I'm so happy that these people lost.
Yeah, it's wild, bro. It's super wild.
Yeah, it's just entertaining to see these teams kind of like failing, right? These super teams kind of put together and kind of failed. And, everyone has said that this is the only way to succeed. The big market teams are the only ones that are succeeding. You can only win if you have a super team, and pretty much all the super teams are out. The only one that's left is the Clippers, maybe, and they only have two superstars. So, are they a super team or are they not?
Yeah.
But they only have two
count them as a
two
super team.
superstars. One of them is injured. One of them is pretty much a part-time player at this point in Kawhi, and they're down right now. They're down 3-1. Everyone, Chris Paul has lost 3-1, of course, before. Ty Lue has come back from a 3-1 deficit before beating the Warriors in those finals. So anything is possible still, but yeah, it just seems like the super teams are not going to win this year, which I think is good for the sport. I think is good that maybe a team from like a market that's not considered a super like a high, like a super destination market or whatever might win, and I think that's a good thing for sure. So I guess kind of like, what have your big observations been so far from these NBA playoffs so far?
So far, I see that coaching makes a big difference this year, We had, definitely. I said last year with it, I was going off of, the coaching for, Quinn Snyder. I was really, really hard on him. I was really hard on a couple coaches. And I like it that, the coaches, they're calling Ty Lue now the Bill Belichick of the NBA because of all the adjustments that he makes. I like it that my boy Nate McMillan, is in the Eastern Conference Finals. I preach Nate McMillan.
He's getting his revenge. He's getting his revenge right now.
He really is. Yeah, I like that. I see Budenholzer as being like a sorry ass coach. Basically, he's just going to strictly on just the team's talent. To be honest with you, I never thought that Budenholzer was going to. He doesn't make any mid-game adjustments. He's just kind of just lost out there, and that's a big thing for me. I do like the players. I really like that Giannis is getting like his just due. I mean, he's not like the greatest of all time. He's not going to be in that. I already, I wrote him off last year for that. But I do like it that
he's like.
I'm Brian him the fuck off.
Giannis is like 6 months older than me, dude. You make fun of me for being young or whatever, and Giannis is only 6 months older than me. He's not turning 26 until December, so he's got plenty of time still, I think, No, he's turning 27
I'm writing his
in
ass
December.
off.
So, I don't think it's time to write him off at all. He still has plenty of time.
I'm writing him off.
LeBron was how old? 2012. So LeBron was 28 almost, or either 28 or almost 28 when he won his first title. I mean, if Giannis wins his first title this year at, right before he turns 27, then you still got a really long time, like pretty much, a decade at least to win more titles and still be like a high-level player, I think, especially if he keeps his body.
I guess if you put LeBron on the GOAT scale, he's not even on the GOAT scale for me, though. LeBron is not on the GOAT scale. So I wouldn't put him and Giannis to that. I'm 100% honest. I'm 100% honest. This isn't a LeBron. This is a Kobe jersey I'm wearing, just by the way.
How old was Jordan when he won his first ring?
He went to college, bro. There's a big difference.
Yeah, but still, it's the same age, like 27, 28, something like that, just in terms of physical development. Like, Giannis wasn't, like, barely physically ready to play in the NBA, like, real minutes, even in his, probably until, like, his third year or something like that. So, you know, and which would put him around the same age as when Jordan started. So, yeah. I would say that, like, I think Giannis deserves more credit than you're giving to him. But, you know...
well, you know I'm tough on him.
Yeah, you are. But, yeah, it's been interesting so far. So, yeah, like I was saying, the kind of, like, these super teams losing has been my kind of favorite development so far. You know, the Nets, obviously, the Nets failed. The Clippers right now are in a bad position. The Clippers just kind of put themselves in a really bad position right now. I mean, they've come back from 2-0 deficits, like, literally these first two rounds. And so, you know, anything is possible still. Maybe Kawhi comes back and Kawhi just has the series of a lifetime. That's still possible. Maybe the Suns melt down. You know, Chris Paul teams have melted down before. That's also possible. But, you know, it just seems like it's not their year this year. So do you think that this is kind of an indictment of, like, the whole super team type of thing, where if you build a team that's around, like, more than, like, you know, that's built around, like, two or more, like, really big-time superstars, and you don't fill them around with the right depth, do you think that an injury can just completely wipe that away? Do you think that's what it's showing, or what do you think what is your like, observation, I guess, seeing these teams struggle?
Of course. Of course. I do feel like injuries do make a big difference with these super teams, only because the cap room for money to pay off better players for better role players. And so if you spend, you know, mostly all your max contract money allowed for your team on two or three players, it leaves you with just no money for your role players, and you're not going to get and then you'll pick up old vets on the veteran minimum. They might give it to you, they might not. So then when one star does go down, you know, that makes a big difference. And so just like what happened with Brooklyn, like Brooklyn gave up pretty much the whole barn for James Harden. And, you know, he did make a big difference. I'm not saying anything else like that, but when they dropped Kyrie, and, you know, it would have been cool for Kevin Durant to have those extra.
Did he make a big difference, though? I mean, they weren't number one in the East. They didn't win. They didn't get past the second round even. And he got injured. So did he make a big difference? Yeah, I don't know.
He did for the most part. If he didn't,
he didn't, because
but that's what I'm saying.
This team didn't this team wasn't put together to have some nice moments in, like, the first two rounds in the regular season or whatever. This team was put together to win a championship. And there's very little teams that I would say that about. But, like, there's very little teams that I would say that about. But, like, the Nets not winning a championship is a failure. The Lakers not winning a championship is probably a failure. I mean, it's more debatable with them because
it is a failure.
Yeah, no, but they had a really short offseason, which was discussed this year. I mean, the Heat and the
Fuck
Lakers.
the offseason, bro. I'm not trying to hear that.
The Lakers, both of those teams look completely shell shocked in the playoffs and stuff like that, and they had to face injuries this whole year. I mean, they
were in Disney World, bro.
Yeah, but you still have to play games. It's not like they didn't have to play games against each other. It's not like
they had more time off last year.
They had the time off.
Yes, they did.
In the season, not like.
Okay, but bro, think of it.
Like in the middle of.
Think of it. Normal season. Okay, that's cool. But
the two seasons.
Okay, that's cool. Normal season, you get if you go to the finals, you get off in June, right?
Environment again after that.
That's oh my god. First of all, they were in Disney World. That ain't really all they tell. That remind them back of the AAU days.
What are you talking about? Like, there was, like, games they had to pretty much play more or less, like, there were, like, what? Like, there was such a limited break period of time for those guys in terms of, like, in between games and stuff like that. There was a crazy schedule, and people said that this is what would happen. Like, literally the players said that this is what would happen, and that guys would get injured. And it's what happened. So, yes, with the Lakers and the Heat, it is more, I would say, debatable for those teams, but I would say for the Clippers, if they don't win a championship, it's a failure, and then for the Nets, it's a failure. Like, those guys were all rested, those guys were all healthy and stuff like that, pretty much. Like, they had plenty of rest, and they weren't able to put it together. So I would say for the Clippers and Nets, it's a bigger failure for sure.
All I know is that LeBron's championship last year didn't count.
That's bullshit.
I said it. I told you. I said if they don't run that shit back, it's not. It doesn't count. I told you
that I don't agree with that because
Miami didn't even get to the Eastern Conference Finals.
That you're given. right? It's not like they were, what do you call? It's not like the Lakers were being like, oh, we need to play this way, and then every other team had to go along with them or something like that. It's not like LeBron got these special advantages or whatever. Every team was in that situation. Any team could have won.
Special advantages.
So it does count. That's like, it was the only way to play, so it does count. That's what I say.
That shit don't count. People's minds were other places. People's, there's a lot of things. If they didn't run it back, I said if any team would have won last year, they didn't run it back.
Can be in other places like anywhere. That doesn't like change the fact that every team was in that situation and they were the team that won.
As I said, even if Milwaukee would have won that championship last year, it's not me hating on nobody. I said it. Look, let's run back the tape.
That is you hating.
No, that's not, because I said even if Milwaukee won, like I said, they have to run that shit back for it to be legit, or at least get to the conference finals. They couldn't even get to conference final. Nor Miami or the Lakers made it to their respective conference finals. It was a wash last year. It was a real wash last year. That's all what it was. It was. I don't consider that a championship. It was a nice tournament. Good job.
Nice that you. Good tournament. That's nice that you don't consider it or whatever. But they have a championship, so it's still going to go in the record books and everything. So they have it. It's nice that you don't consider it. They still have it, man. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what people who. What do you call people who dislike LeBron or whatever say? It doesn't matter.
That would have been for anybody. Yeah,
but
I would have been even okay if they went to the conference finals and lost. They didn't even go back to the conference finals.
No, you wouldn't. You would.
Yes, I would. I said, run the tape back, bruh. Run the tape back.
You said run it back, as in like they have to win a championship. So the only way you would have considered the Lakers to be legitimate championships last year would if they had won the championship this year. They could have lost in the first round. It wouldn't matter to you. They could have lost in Game 7 of the finals and by like 1 point.
I would have given them more respect if they lost in the conference finals.
No, you wouldn't. You would have said it was bullshit.
Yes, I would have.
So you're not.
I would not have said it. That's that. Oh my God! You see, you guys, this is the first video recording. You see the faces? You see what I deal with? He's saying what I don't. I'm trying to tell you guys. They have to run it back. At least get to the conference finals.
You guys have heard Dexter's arguments and stuff like that before. You know what's up with Dex. You know what's up. You know what Dexter's been saying since the beginning.
Facts. Yeah, you know what I've been saying. Yeah. Facts, bro. I've been saying everything.
So, do you think that not when? Okay, I think that we can debate LeBron forever because. And it would just derail the show because there's more. I think there's more interesting things to talk about. But do you kind of think that it's a bigger failure for the Clippers since if the Clippers don't win, or the Nets because the Nets already aren't going to win this year? But who do you think it's a bigger failure for?
Okay, so there's two answers to this. Well, I'm asking your question directly. Who do I feel would be the biggest failure? Be the Brooklyn Nets, only because they've had probably one of the most high-powered offensive teams ever created, right?
Yeah.
And they were
probably the most individual offensive creation ever
that's ever made. Yeah. And so that would be. I mean, it was championship or bust. Yeah. It was finals or bust. They couldn't even make it out the second round, bro.
It was championship. It was not finals for them. It was championship. You can't put together those three guys and not win. Like a bunch of like pretty much everyone was like, oh, the Nets are just gonna walk to the title because of this talent that they put together. So yeah, it wasn't gonna be like I was one of the few people who didn't believe in the Nets, but whatever. But
I didn't want the Nets to win because I like it when it's homegrown. I like when people stay with their teams. I like it when it's more competitive. That's why I like Giannis so much. He's not the greatest of all time. He's not on my list no more to be on that. But I do like it and I do respect that he stayed with Milwaukee and he wanted a team built around him. And he didn't. What's up?
So Dex, let me ask you this. Let's say he has a similar type of championship ring as Jordan or something, right? Where he has 2 3-peats or something like that. He's constantly in the playoffs. He just continues to be finals, and he's has 6 finals MVP or something like that, right? Or even let's say he gets a 7th. Yeah. He's not going to be in your GOAT if that happens.
Okay, quick question. Can he actually make his free throws?
No, but what I'm saying is
in this time. I'm saying in this time, does he develop to make free throws?
No, but even if he doesn't make his free throws, let's say they accomplish that without making his free throws, right? I mean, they look like they're in a good position to be in the finals and potentially be competitive for a championship, even if he doesn't make his free throws or whatever, right? So if that happens, is he your GOAT or not?
No.
No? Still no?
I said what I said. No.
You're crazy, bro. You're crazy. You just get.
How am I crazy, bro?
Because you're just getting stuck on.
No, I'm not. I'm not stuck on it.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
No,
You're stuck on this
I'm
position.
stuck on the position.
I kind of like. I guess the difference that I see is that like I think Giannis has like been humiliated before, and that he's like fine with that. He'll just keep getting. He just keeps getting up and like kind of like working harder and trying to get to like the next level despite whatever he's faced and stuff like that. Like he'll miss free throws. He'll like airball occasionally. He'll lose. He's lost in all sorts of different and bad ways. But like he keeps coming back and he keeps exercising these demons and stuff like that. He got to the conference finals for the first time in his career this year. He got to the he kind of they swept the Heat this year. I'm pretty sure they swept them, right?
They swept them.
Yeah. They swept the Heat this year. They kind of came back from that big.
I get your position
in the conference semis, right? So I think he's exercising his genius in a way that's different, right? And he still has plenty of time, is the thing. Like I said, he's not even 27 years old yet. He still has pretty much like. I mean, if he can keep his body in good shape, like medicine and everything is really good, man. Like he could be like an awesome player for like another decade, right? He could be a high level like player for another decade, and if that happens, then like like if that happens and he wins like several championships, then he would be in that GOAT conversation, is what I think.
Yeah, but this is where he fails at it with me. He has to be able to close somewhat. They have to be able to leave him in the game. In the fourth quarter, other than the final 2 minutes.
But he's like a big man, though, right? You can put him in the game in the fourth quarter. You can put him in the game in the fourth quarter, but he's like a big man, so you're not running your offense through him because he's a big man.
But Chris Middleton is bailing him out.
Pretty much, and like in this day and age, you don't run your offense through big men, pretty much, unless it's like a Jokic or something like that. So,
but name one big man do we consider in the GOAT conversation other than Kareem Abdul-Jabbar?
But that's from like 30 years ago or something like that, man. Like the best big man.
I know, but he's the only one. You know why? Because he could close the games.
No, because
he could close games.
But that was like an entirely different era of the game. That's like an entirely different era.
Shaq came like 10 years later, 15 years later. We don't consider Shaq a GOAT.
Shaq wasn't able to win without like Kobe or D-Wade either. And those guys.
Because he couldn't close a fucking game.
Yeah, because he's a big man, and like the rule and like the way basketball has changed, and like the rules change and stuff like that, so that a big man wouldn't be able to do that. The game is more like dependent on like guards and wings and stuff like that, and perimeter scorers rather than big men.
Giannis
because of like offensive like 3-second violations and the way like things are called and everything like that. The way like posts and the way fouls are called in the post and everything like that. And just that the whole.
I'm actually being nice to him though, bro.
No, you're not.
I'm actually being nice though. No, yes, I am. Look. All that I'm saying is, I don't say even he needs to develop a jump shot no more. The jump shot doesn't even matter to me no more. I say, you know what? Just make your fucking free throws. At least go 70%, 72%, and then we could talk. You know, then I'd be like, okay, well, at least he could close games. He could get everybody in foul trouble. He can make his free throws. At least he's making 70% of them. That'll put him in a GOAT conversation.
They came back from some tough games, man. I mean, he's putting up like 40, 15, and whatever in these like close game 6s and game 7s and stuff like that. That's closing games to me. Right? That's closing games to me. Even if you're not like initiating like the offense and having the ball in your hands all the time or whatever, that's closing games to me. Like I don't care if you're not taking the final.
They give it to Chris Middleton.
Like if you're putting up
you don't have 40, to take
15 and 7 or whatever, then I don't care if you're not the one with the ball in your hands the whole time. Right? If you're doing that in like
you don't have to have
crucial things, then you have to like then I recognize that as being like able to close games is what I think.
Well, Prashanta's litmus is different than mine. He is younger, and so he doesn't, there's people we haven't actually physically seen that I've seen close and
you're an old, and you're like any other old man in that you think that everything that you saw in your childhood is the only good thing, and that like anything that came after
it's not the only good thing. I see great players now. There's a whole nother breed of players, bro.
KD, the way I've thought that LeBron was like the best player I've seen, and then like some of the shit that KD was doing though, that was like putting him up there for me. I was seriously like, if they had won this championship with those other guys injured, I might have put KD over LeBron in my all-time rankings or stuff like that.
Would you have put him up there?
I might
so, yeah.
I might have, right? Because that would have given him 3, which is one, within one of LeBron, and he's a few years younger, so he would still have a time to catch up with LeBron and stuff like that. Especially with those guys injured. Like, the fact that he had I think he had the most points in Game 7 ever, right? Probably in history.
In a Game 7 ever, yep.
Yeah. And, like, ultimately, he wasn't able to, like, carry them all to the finish line, but I don't put that as like a failure of KD. I think that's a team failure rather than a KD failure or something like that, right? He put it all out there,
definitely, for sure.
And if he had like carried them to a championship this year, then I think that would have put him in the conversation. I think with LeBron in terms of where their all-time historical rankings is. Personally, that's what.
I mean, I would have put honestly if KD would have did. I agree with you. If KD would have did what he did by himself like that, yeah, he would have been right there. He would have been in that conversation because because he wouldn't have. Who was his Robin, right?
Like,
that'd been like the first legit. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Because
that's just that's my thing about it.
And I always try to like, be willing to adjust or shift my opinions on people and stuff like that, right? Just because I think that it's not like, I just don't want to get stuck in this mentality of, oh, what I think is good, and, what I was taught is good is the only thing that's good or something like that, right? I try not to get stuck in that mentality because you kind of end up turning into like, I don't know, Jeff Van Gundy or something like that, where you're just complaining more than enjoying the game or something like that, right? And I don't want to do that personally. Right, I don't want that to happen.
No, but so I'm not there. I'm not like that.
You are, bro. You are.
I'm not like that. No, I'm not. First of all, I feel like this new breed of like draft players, of these new players, these new boys, Trey, Luka, Zion, Jason Tatum, Devin Booker, John Morant, all these cats, Jaylen Brown. There's so many of these new kids that are going to like, make the game even more better and fun to even watch for me.
Yeah,
I like these new breed of players. That I'm not stuck there. I'm just saying if he can make some of his free throws.
Yeah, but what you're saying is that like I was saying, like I offered you a scenario where he won like several championships at a level with like Jordan and stuff.
And I just asked you, did his free throw percentage get better?
Yeah, but like who cares? If you're winning championships, who cares if
it matters?
If you're the best player on a championship team, then who cares if you're not a good free throw shooter? Like the championship is what matters. Like the point of the game is to win the game, not to shoot a certain percentage on your free throws. That's what I think.
Yeah, but the thing about it is why Mike is the undisputed GOAT is because there was no hiccups in his game.
If you're not willing to let if you're not willing to let something like that go and
move the goalposts,
the only way that someone can be a GOAT, if you're being like,
you want me to move the goalposts?
What?
You want me to move the goalposts?
No, that's not moving the goalposts. The ultimate thing is like being a winner and being like, and like winning games and stuff like that. That's what makes you great. That's what ultimately makes you the great or the greatest. And Jordan has done that more than anyone else in the modern era. I mean, Bill Russell obviously did that.
Why is he the undisputed king though? Why is he the undisputed king? Because he could. Why is he the undisputed king of both?
Because he won at the highest level more times than anyone else in this recent era.
Being the best player, being able to close with the ball in his hand, he was the ultimate. That's what it is. He didn't have us. He didn't have.
I don't agree with that, man. If I don't know. Let's say Shaq had, even if Shaq had like 6 or 7 championships, right? Similar type of thing to Jordan, and Shaq had put together around like that 6 or 7 finals MVPs or whatever. Even if he didn't have the ball in his hands, he would be more in competition with Jordan for sure. Even if he didn't have the ball in his hands, Shaq, he wasn't as good as free throws, because the point of the game is to win the game. It's not to make a certain amount of free throws.
Yeah, but we didn't learn from watching the Atlanta Hawks. You could have a big-ass lead, and Shaq could have 30 points in the first 3 quarters. But if he can't make his free throws and being in the fourth quarter and Atlanta comes back, you have no championships.
Yeah, but it's not like Giannis is like losing these games or something. Giannis is coming back down 2-0. He's winning these like close like overtime games and stuff like that. He put up like 40, 15 and something in game 7. He basically averaged 40 points for the last like 4 games of that series. He basically averaged like a 40-point double-double.
Is it so hard to ask him to make it? Is it so hard for me to ask him to up his free throws, bro? Just a little bit.
I'm not saying
if Shaq literally made his free throws.
I'm not saying what you're saying is like a hard thing. I'm just saying that if like the point of the game is to win championships, and he does that repeatedly over and over again, it just doesn't matter to me if he has that flaw in his game of not being a good free throw shooter. That doesn't matter to me.
He doesn't have to be a good one. He just has to be able to stay out in the fourth quarter.
He does
and still
stay
allow
out
them
in the
to be able
quarter.
to allow his team to and not. Okay, so
stay out in the
okay, so this
he played like 40 something minutes.
At some point,
40 something minutes.
At a certain point, they're going to catch up.
You're not making sense. Right
at a certain point, they're going to. It's because Budenholzer is not a good coach. It's because Budenholzer is not a good coach.
Yeah, he's not a good coach.
He would know to take his ass out.
Play your best players. He's not. It's not that you can't put him out there in the fourth quarter. You're talking ridiculous. You're talking crazy right now, man.
When they start hacking Giannis, a hack of Giannis, you'll see.
I mean,
just like what they did with Ben Simmons.
They did that with what do you call? They did that with what do you call?
Ben Simmons and they actually succeeded.
They did that
and it broke his spirit.
The Brooklyn did that, and what do you call? They still won. Brooklyn was like hacking him, and they still won. Like the fans were literally chanting in the stands all the time that he takes to shoot his free throws and stuff, and he was making his free throws in that final game. He made his free throws in that final game when it mattered.
Good.
Like so he has that clutchness.
And that's all that I want. I just need him to just make his free throws. If Shaq made his free throws, Shaq will have the all-time scoring record right now, and he would be considered the GOAT. If Shaq can make his free throws, you know why? Because he was the most dominant, and he was a monster. And if he can make his free throws, he would be like, nobody could stop Shaq.
Even if Shaq would have made his free throws, unless it led to like more championships, he wouldn't be considered the GOAT.
If Shaq made more free throws, I mean, he would have had to work hard in the offseason, and Shaq knows he didn't work hard in the offseason. I'm just saying, I'm going to put that out in space.
That's true, that's true.
And he said it, so Shaq, if you ever see this, don't be mad at me. You did say that, bro. So, yeah, we had, like, this is a good little debate. This is a good little first little show that we got. I wonder what you guys would think about the show. I want to know what you guys want us to talk about. I want you guys to let us know, like, anything. Well, should we do more time? Like, how would you guys want us to do it? This is our first, we got staring to the camera more. We got to get used to the audio and all this kind of stuff. But, we do this for our fans. We do this for our roid ragers. And so, I had a good time. We got to get to this game soon. I got to start.
Yeah, let us know what you think in terms of, do you think that we should, do you think that there was anything wrong with us? Let us know what you think. Leave comments. Subscribe to our channel, of course. Like the video, leave comments. That all that helps us out in the YouTube algorithm in whatever way, I guess. So, yeah, do all of that, please. It would be great to, get our show out there for people.
Yep, and all I can say is thank you guys, and tune in to next week. We finally got the video going, so we both know that you guys will be looking in and doing all that kind of stuff. Bring up the views, give us some views and subscribes, and we'll keep doing it.
Yeah, for sure. All right, thanks everyone. We will talk to you.
Wait! This is our first show, and we did not give out any saggy ball sacks. We gotta get deflated ball sacks or something, bro.
Deflated ball. I mean, I would say deflated balls are going to. I don't know. Who do you say deflated?
I got one. I definitely got one. I got a deflated ball to the sentencing altogether. Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban.
Yeah.
Mine's is for Derek Chauvin's sentencing.
I mean,
22 and a half years is not good for me.
Yeah,
it's not good enough.
Honestly,
because that's what means he's gonna do 15 years behind bars and in probation.
I mean, he was never going to be like. It was never going to be like him getting like life in jail or something like that, man. Like they weren't going to give us like everything that we wanted, and ultimately that's what it is, man. At least he was guilty, is what I think. Right? At least he was found guilty. It wasn't like some of those other cases where they weren't even charged, or they were found not guilty or something like that. At least he was found guilty. I say Mark Cuban because this is someone who is starting to alienate, I think, his superstar in Luka with like hiring this professional gambler to basically run the front office or something like that, right? Doing all sorts of stupid bullshit. And then, Luka talked about this guy that he wanted to be the head coach, Jamal Mosley, who's like an assistant with the Mavericks, and, they didn't hire him. After the whole like sexual harassment and stuff like that scandal with that team, the fact that they hire Jason Kidd, who's pled guilty to like domestic abuse and stuff like that, I don't know, man. It just says a lot about your team that, all of this stupid shit is happening, I guess. So, yeah, deflated balls to Mark Cuban.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, definitely. But like I said, the sentencing was fucked up. Everybody was telling me.
Also, I enjoy that I get to keep hating on Kyrie and saying that he still hasn't won anything without LeBron.
Oh my God! Let it go, Prashanta. Let it go. Let it go.
He still hasn't won anything without.
He hit a game winner, Game 7. 2 points under LeBron for that series, bro.
That was with LeBron.
And LeBron didn't win one without Kyrie in Cleveland.
Yes, he was. LeBron.
He did not.
In Cleveland is what you're saying now. Now you're saying in Cleveland.
In Cleveland,
right? He won.
Yeah, he didn't do it. When Kyrie was out, he did. He went to the finals. Couldn't do it.
He won in Miami without Kyrie. He won in LA without Kyrie.
With 2 Hall of Famers. Yeah, that's pretty fucking easy to do.
Yeah, but I mean, Kyrie didn't win anything in Boston. Kyrie hasn't won anything in Brooklyn.
Okay, whatever. That's all I'm saying. Nigga. Touche. I give you that. Touche. Kyrie, step it up, bro. Kyrie, you're a good dude. You're a philanthropist. Bro, stop letting this guy talk right now. Deliver next year. Just not with the Nets. Like, go somewhere else where it's like a smaller team where you be the main dude and, you know.
But honestly, I think in terms of this season, it's probably a bigger disaster for the Clippers. But I think that in terms of, like, overall... No, I think in terms of this season, I think it's a bigger disaster for the Nets. But I think overall, it could be a bigger disaster for the Clippers because Kawhi's a free agent this year, man. Kawhi is an unrestricted free agent this year.
Let him go. Let him go. Let him go,
I don't
bro.
know. If this team can't even get to the finals without him, then, you know, he could very possibly leave, right? And if he leaves, then they basically have what? Paul George as the best player on their team. They beat like the fraud Utah Jazz. And they beat the Mavs with.
Hey,
with
PG was
Kawhi,
playing better. PG was playing better. The thing about Kawhi is, I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
The only thing about Kawhi is that everybody, like, I was on that Kawhi train, right? I was like, oh, man, Kawhi, you know. I mean, I think you and me even had a debate. Like, I was like, hey, if Kawhi gets, like, 2 more, you know. And the thing about it is, now that I see Kawhi's character, I see the way he does certain things, like, he's off that list for me, too. I'm right. You know, I'm quick to wipe people off certain lists. He's off my list of... No, yes, he is.
For Kawhi, it is a little different, and I think for Kawhi, it is a little different than someone like Giannis or LeBron or something like that. Just because with Kawhi, you kind of get a feeling that even though he's not like that old yet, and he's only been in the league for like 10 years, so he's like what, max like 31, 32 at this point, maybe like 31.
I think he's like 28 or 29. I think he was drafted in like 2012 or
2011, and I know that he spent a couple years at San Diego State, so he's probably like what, 30, 31 at this point, right? He's like I was saying, man, he's pretty much like a part-time player at this point. He takes it way too easy. He tries to turn it on and off way too much, and that's not something that you can do as like a potential GOAT or whatever, right? Kawhi's going in the Hall of Fame because he has 2 Finals MVPs from 2 different teams, but you know, in terms of like being that conversation of being kind of in that,
he's not that dude.
Upper echelon. He's not.
He's 29, bro.
Unless, yeah. Is he? Yeah.
He's 29. He'll turn 30 in 2 days
this year. That's what I was thinking, because I know that he spent a couple years at San Diego State. He wasn't like a freshman.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that Kawhi does need to win. He wants to be the. I don't know.
He's not. He's out that conversation. You and me both know he's out that conversation, bro. He's not even worth talking about. He's not even just like how he don't like to talk or pump up his teammates and be all the way up in the fucking like balcony seats or whatever in the suites instead of actually being down there with his team. He's not. I'm not even talking about Kawhi. You know what, Kawhi? You get the deflated ball stats too, bro. Because that's jacked up. You're not a good teammate. Bye, Kawhi. I'm done with Kawhi, bro.
Yeah. Shout out to Mike Breen for his very funny call of Kawhi going crazy when he was just like sitting there in the stands.
That was a good one. That's like the best. Yeah. Besides him saying bang, that broke my heart every single time. Because usually when he said bang, it was always a 3-pointer of the team I didn't want to win. But he is a Hall of Famer, so congratulations to him. But well, that ends it for us, bro.
Yeah. So like we were saying, you know, subscribe, comment, like, all that stuff. Let us know if you guys want us to talk about anything next week. Leave us comments and all that stuff. So and we will talk to you next week then.